Yes, guys. Yes, people. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Carefree Reacts. And I hope you guys are still enjoying the way that we've ended this Premier League campaign. We are back where the Chelsea always should be, which is in the top four, which I don't know why my deodorant's in here, but we're back where we should be in the top four, back in the Champions League. And people are wondering, why are Chelsea fans celebrating this so much? What has happened to Chelsea Football Club? How the mighty have fallen? What has happened to Chelsea? We've gone from celebrating winning the Champions League to celebrating being in the Champions League. Isn't this what you criticize other clubs like Arsenal for? Let's debunk this BS before we get into the receipts. So, first off, don't compare Phase 5 Arsenal to Phase 1 Chelsea. It doesn't make any sense. Second of all, we're not flexing just being in the Champions League. We're flexing what being in the top four means for us. What it means for us is that there is no excuse for our summer transfer window. It means that now we must spend, we must improve the team. We have the money, we have the resources. What we don't have is the excuses. Now we must. Now we must bring in the remaining few players that are the difference between us being in the top four race and the title race. And the second reason why Chelsea fans are celebrating this is because this is just one step, one proper step, the first proper step that we've taken under Clearlake to going back to where we're meant to be as a footballing institution, to where we were under the reign of the great Roman Abramovich, when 3 years ago he got the club robbed from him. And I mean robbed from him. We had the government literally try and kill our club a month after we became world champions. We had our store being shut. We had fans not being allowed to buy tickets. We had all of our assets frozen. We had a forced takeover. We were forced to give away 2 out of our 3 best defenders on a free. We went through one of the quickest and one of the most ruthless rebuilds we have ever gone through. And in spite of all of that, what did we get? 2 years of bullshit, and now we are finally back where we're meant to be. We are finally one step closer to being back to where we were meant to be, which is top of the table and top of the damn world. And that is why I'm happy. That, and also because if Chelsea didn't get top 5, we are looking at a meaty window and we are looking at very minimal improvement. But here we stand, game week 38. We stand 4th in the table. Goal difference equal with Newcastle and all of that. We've got much better defensively than we have last season. We're still creating the same amount of chances. We have a much better structure that we have literally watched the team start to grow and understand as we have watched the season progress. There is a lot to be optimistic about. And for Enzo Maresca, one of the most criticized managers that I've seen this season, partly deservedly so, a lot of it unfair, which we are going to get into. And Enzo Maresca came out after we confirmed top 4, saying that they were saying we were not able to win on the pitch. Unfortunately for them, they are all young. How do we say in English? F off to all of them. F off to every single last one of them. And to be honest, I don't even think the quotes do it fair justice. I actually think it'd be better off if we just watch it ourselves. So I'm going to play it for you guys here.
They were saying,
so let's just boom,
that we are too young, we are not good enough. They were waiting for Villa draw points in case we want to achieve Champions League, and they were saying that we were not able to win in this pitch because too young, because not experience. And unfortunately for them, they have been all wrong.
All wrong.
Once you know that they have the truth and they have the answer for everything. So in English, I would say F off to all of them.
So that was basically Maresca going after all the doubters, everybody that has been waiting for Chelsea to fail. Because don't get it twisted, forget just the rivals. There's been some Chelsea fans that have been sitting there itching and waiting for Maresca to fail, also they could run their tired agendas on how crap our team is, how crap the project is, and how crap our future is, and how we should have kept Maurizio Pochettino because all we like Conor Gallagher and all of that crap. And Maresca, fair play to him, could have clapped back earlier. He waited until everything was confirmed. He waited until top 4 was wrapped up, and then he spoke. He did, and then he spoke. And then you still have idiots who are trying to call him out for speaking after he got the achievement. First, we got Ollie Holt and all of that. I know you guys remember him, ex-Barclaysman and all of that. Now he works for the Daily Mail. And he was here saying, classy from Enzo Maresca on critics who doubted the Chelsea squad. Maresca said in English, I'd say F off to all of them. This is a club that spent 1.2 billion to finish 4th place, even though like Maresca didn't get 1.2 billion to build his squad with. He got 250 million and half of it was spent on players that he didn't want. But who needs context in football? Who needs context? 1.2 billion to finish 4th and repeat 4th. Maybe save the triumphalism for when you win a significant trophy, which is again some of the BS that you will hear from rivals. Why don't you try and act like this when you've won a trophy? Here's the thing. My team has done everything that is expected of them in the league this season. And I'm celebrating that they did that against all of the doubt and all of the criticism, all of the naysayers, all of the haters, not just around us, but within our own fan base as well. I'm celebrating that these players and this manager persevered through all of them. Of course, this wouldn't be done without like Dean CFC making his own horrible appearance, saying, all jokes aside, Maresca telling people to F off after finishing 15 points off the top of the Premier League with a 1.5 billion squad is beyond embarrassing. You know who is embarrassing? First off, this guy who has spent the last 2 years just cleaning Pochettino's bumhole with his teeth. But I don't expect anything from this guy because this brother is being roasted on every single available tweet possible because he has spent all season waiting for Maresca to fail and he hasn't got his wish. And like I said, I am glad Maresca has clapped back, mainly because of all of the criticism and all of the doubt that he got, not even just when the team was failing, but from the start of the campaign, before even the start of the campaign. Let's start reeling through the receipts. We're now at that time. Let's start going through these receipts. Rory Jennings, first off from TalkSport. Let's get into this. Let's get into this. 1 second. Just got to
improve the players that he's got. But this has set us back at least 2 years because there's no way that Maresca is a better manager than Pochettino. No, that's just not possible.
There you are.
So no way that Maresca's system is going to be playable with a lot of the players that he has in the team.
What happens if gets off to a dodgy start?
They'll be sacked at Christmas.
You think he'll go?
He'll be sacked at Christmas. That's not a
sacked at Christmas.
Hyperbolic statement. It was Chelsea under this ownership. 6 managers. Been there 2 years. He's a 6. If you include that bald fellow who did a game, he's 7. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, forget his name. We've had so many. Bruno. If you remember him, Bruno Salter. Nobody even remembers. We've had another manager that nobody even knows.
Who cares about Bruno Salto?
How many other managers available that could have taken the job would you have preferred ahead of Enzo Maresca? I'm just
probably a dozen.
A dozen, right?
If I'm
frank, I want to hear names.
In terms of the managers that I wanted, I don't think I would have had Maresca on the list. I don't think, if you ask me 5, who do you want to be the next Chelsea manager? And I give you 5. There's no way.
That's fair enough, to be honest. I don't think Maresca was on a lot of people's lists. Definitely not mine.
Absolutely no way. I wanted a manager. I had one prerequisite for who comes in. What we need at the moment, we need somebody with standards, somebody with pedigree, and somebody who demands the best and knows what Chelsea is supposed to be. You need
and you're talking about Poch earlier in the video,
somebody, in my opinion, who has a Champions League to their name. It doesn't matter who that person is. Have they won a Champions League? If the answer is yes, let's try and get them. If the answer is no, let's just discard them. If the answer is they've never managed in the top flight, if the answer is they got relegated with Parma in Serie B, do you know what Chelsea have done? Do you know what I think really does give you? Listen, just before we break, listen to you'll laugh.
See, I would be fine with all of this if this guy wasn't a raging Lampard stan when we got him in the Championship. That's my biggest problem. Like, if you're ex-Chelsea in that, you'll get all the time in the world, even if you don't have the credentials. But if you don't have the credentials and you're not ex-Chelsea, suddenly we're going to flip-flop. By the way, 7th of June, 2024. This was before the season even started. Talking about stuff again from before the season started. Another example of the amount of doubt that was on Enzo Maresca. Look at this. 6 out of 30 pundits predicted Chelsea to get into the top 4. 6 out of 30. 1 out of every 6 said that. That was the amount of doubt on this Chelsea side, but it's not meant to be an achievement that we're able to get back into the top 4. Barely anybody believed that we were going to do it in the first place. Barely anybody. And the same people who didn't predict us to get top 4 were demanding us to admit that we were in a title race in December. Figure that one out as well, man. Figure that one out. Jamie Carragher. We've got another one from here. His predictions for the 24-25 season. A man said West Ham. West Ham, Manchester United and Spurs. You really missed the target on this. You really missed the target on this one. Now, Jamie Carragher, we'll be back to you later. We'll be back to you later. Another one from everybody's favorite, Seb C, saying it's only pre-season. Things will get worse from now on. These are the sort of guys that we have as Chelsea fans. Here is another one. Just before the season started. I think this was before the season started. Yes, it was. July 2024. Chelsea should tear up Maresca's contract before the season starts. Whoever's in charge of transfers needs to go with him. This team already looks far worse than last season. 29th of July. 29th of July. This could be Chelsea's last season as a Premier League club, guys. This could be our last season in the Premier League, people. Oh, brother. And again, we can just keep wheeling it forward and keep wheeling it. There's more. Sorry, Viz, you're my guy and everything. I didn't even want to do this to you, but it turns out you're just going to be collateral damage. Maresca is not making it past December at Chelsea. I said that Enzo wouldn't make it to Christmas. You'll be glad to know he won't even make it to October. Did you know he won Manager of the Month, I think, in either September or October? Bring me Cesc when this Maresca freak gets sacked in November. This Hassan guy is specifically funny, by the way, because this is one of the few guys on Twitter who loves running up Standards FC and everything, talking about how the club's fallen from its good old days. But then you let people cook for a little bit, you start seeing the agendas pull through. Man saying bring him home for Meaty Mount. Standards FC want Mason Mount back at the club in big May 2025, but these are the people that are meant to be taken seriously. Okay. We keep it moving. On to the next one. Son of Chelsea. Oh, brother. Nothing qualifies Maresca to be Chelsea head coach other than who he once worked with, which is an insane reason. Andy Myers deserves an interview. But again, we had a championship manager get top 4 before, and he didn't even win the championship, which is why I didn't get this massive uproar about us bringing in a championship manager when we had literally seen it work before. My whole thing was just let the brother cook. Maresca weren't my first choice. He weren't even my 5th choice. But when he was here, I'll let him cook because I've seen worse over the last 2 years. These men wanted to just shit on him immediately because he's a championship manager and he's a very easy scapegoat to have. Well, you had better hope that he failed, and he hasn't failed. He got his target. Sack Maresca, make John Terry the interim. John Terry is your interim manager, you know. Goodness gracious me, people. And then appoint the special one, Jose Mourinho, next season, because we are living in 2005 again. Big up Jose. I ain't going to criticize him too much, but fuck me, man. It's 2025. Fries in the bag, please. But there's more from him.
And even this appointment with Maresca, Mascara, whoever he is. Who the fuck is he? He's nobody. You should have appointed Mourinho, Conte, Ancelotti, somebody who had some sort of pedigree to make us go forward as a football club. Instead of that, we get some sort of Poundland Pep.
I want to hear those names again.
He's nobody. You should have appointed Mourinho, Conte, Ancelotti, somebody who had some sort of pedigree.
Mourinho and Conte coming back. Mourinho, like we already said, is 2025. Have shame. Conte, he's a serial winner. I can't knock that. But what I can knock is that he'll be there for a season and then be gone. And like it won't actually build any sort of identity within the squad. Ancelotti, I'm very 50-50 on. Because as much as this guy's a proven winner and he's done it everywhere, I do look at him a little bit like cross-eyed with the last season at Real Madrid. And I don't think our team would suit his vibes football, or just like let ballers ball football, because we tried that with Pochettino and look how the fuck that worked out. I just don't think that really works in football anymore. But those names, nah, respectfully not still. Also, like, while we're doing all of this, we got to bring up one of our favorite posts from back in the day. I feel slightly disconnected to the club right now, guys. They got rid of our Cobham graduates. I'll always support my team, and I know that connection will come back over time. I just don't know how to feel right now. All of this because we couldn't beat Manchester City in game week 1 and Conor Gallagher got the boot. Now, you let the manager cook for a little bit. Back where we belong. It wasn't we in August, was it? It was I'm feeling disconnected. But here we are. Here we are. Welcome back to the fold until you feel disconnected again when another Cobham graduate goes. Here we are. Here we are. While we continue to roll through the receipts, I want to show you some stuff from midway through the season. Man were telling us that Enzo Maresca is going to be taking us to the championship if he's in charge next season. I don't think anybody could have predicted the run-in that we had. And this is, again, a thing. We had a run-in that everybody expected us to fail. We had a run-in that everybody expected us to fail with. And there were people in this fan base anticipating us failing so they could run their tired narratives about Pochettino being a better manager. Let's bring Dean CFC back to the courtroom, because Maresca has clearly lost a dressing room. These players no longer respect him, and they're clearly not fighting for him. Aye, there you are, mate. There you are. So much for these players not fighting for him. This really looks like Maresca's lost a dressing room, hasn't it, people? It really looks like he's lost the dressing room. Shout out to Charlie Patrick as well, man, for bringing the visual evidence to the table. Here is Enzo Maresca losing the dressing room. I'm just happy to see the fans chanting for him again, because at least it shows to me that there's a little bit of unity back within the Chelsea fan base. And we know results will always do that. Positive results will always do that. But some of the waffle that I was seeing when our form was like not at its best was utterly ridiculous. And I'm sorry that I have to do this to one of my close friends. I'm sorry that I have to do this, but Alex, I'm gonna have to welcome you to the Dutch pot, my friend. We're gonna have to bring back a couple of your old shorts. We gotta have a conversation about some of these. Champions League is not happening with Maresca, I was told.
Thomas Frank, for me, is actually a level above Maresca.
Oh, whoa. I forgot about that one. Fucking hell, mate.
Because he's proven himself after multiple years climbing the football ladder with Brentford. Maresca, what has he
done with Brentford other than stabilize them as a mid-table Premier League club? I mean, like, fair play to them. And I don't even think Thomas Frank is a bad coach. He's not a bad coach. But what are we doing like he's actually achieved something to be a major upgrade over Enzo Maresca? It's taking the piss.
that guy done in his career? What has he done? Done nothing. So Chelsea fans saying, oh, Alex, you didn't have this energy for Pochettino last season.
You didn't.
What? Yeah, I mean,
figure out a response.
Jesus Christ, man. What are we challenging for with Maresca? What are we going to win? Conference League? All right, fine.
What were we meant to be challenging for other than, like, the cups? Which, I mean, I get. He did throw away the cups in, like, a stupid manner, but challenging like we're meant to be competing for the league with him is crazy.
Anyone can win that, okay? I could be the manager, we win the Conference League. But we are not going to challenge for silverware under this manager. We are not even going to get Champions League football this season under this manager. Do you see us finishing fourth? I mean, I've had people say, oh, we can catch up to Nottingham Forest. Fuck off. No way, man. We're not going to finish third. We're not going to finish fourth. We're not finishing fifth. Champions League is not happening with this guy.
I didn't clock how nasty this receipt is. Fucking hell, mate. Go on, me.
And I'm going to blame the players as well. Yeah, the players can do better. But the manager's job is to improve the team and improve the players. Match-going fans, I can assure you, everyone that's sitting at home and saying we're being negative, we are just bored.
And that's why people didn't like Maresca. It just comes down to that at the end of it. Manager's bored of the protective football, but guess what? It's led to the third best defensive record in the Premier League this season. And I think that's an improvement from the worst defensive record in our Premier League history last season under everybody's favourite coach. Here we are, though.
We are bored of this football. This football is boring. It's Maresca. He doesn't inspire anything with this team. The fans aren't inspired. Thomas Frank.
AK, manager's bored of the football. Thank you. Come again. All of that. That's all we needed. I think I got sent another one as well. Which one's
sorry. The guy is just a total fucking clown. He's a clown. Timber said, I can't even get the words out. Timber said in the 93rd minute, try harder. He fucking shook his hand and then said congratulations to Maresca.
I do kind of wish he didn't shake his hand, but he better be giving him a nasty clap back next season when we beat Arsenal.
Smiling. The guy is a total clown. And I know they're not going to sack him, but I will fucking complain because this guy is not Chelsea level. He's not Chelsea quality. He hasn't got a Chelsea mentality. He's got no hair. He's got no balls.
No manager.
So he's got no hair, bro.
He's got no charisma.
No manager.
He's got a shit style of football. He is regressing this team. This team is getting worse under him. Cole Palmer is getting worse under this manager.
No, he wasn't, by the way, but here we are.
Gusto, one of our best players last season, is getting worse. Talk about injuries. He's having injuries. Everyone wants to make the injury excuse. We didn't have injuries last season. Of course we did. He's made one of the best players in European football, arguably in his position in Kunku when we signed him, into a championship level player else.
He blamed, I forgot he blamed fucking Nkunku's form on Maresca. This brother, man. This fucking guy. Alex, you're my mate, but we are going to roll out this end of season discussion ASAP, my friend. ASAP. Now, what other receipts do we have? We've got this one, which is another brother who is still running the Maresca out train, even though the season's over. Nobody's on the train with you, my friend. Nobody is on the fucking train with you. But guys, I want you to remember why we're doing this. Why we're doing this is because Enzo Maresca decided to clap back on all of his critics at the end of the season after confirming top 4, and people are trying to cuss him out for doing that. As a championship manager, as an inexperienced manager with no world-class centre-backs, Robert Sanchez, who has literally been a net negative for 9/10 of this season. Big up for the running, though. I'll give you the credit, just like I will give the centre-backs. You all turned up. Big up. But Maresca got top 4 with Sanchez, with those centre-backs, with a striker in Nicholas Jackson who clocked out for the season in December, and Cole Palmer who didn't score an open play goal since January. We still got top 4. We still maintained ourselves in the top 4 race. The team still started to learn his style of play more and more as the season progressed. And we have seen it with the run-in. We have seen it with the run-in of games where like every single person expected it to be the end, especially with the way that we were playing leading into the run-in. The drop points against the likes of Ipswich and stuff, for example. Everybody expected us to drop points in the run into the end of the campaign, and we were all worried about it since August. And look what we ended up with. All greens except one bad game at Newcastle United, where we still played well and it was ruined because we went down to 10 men. You can't tell me not to look at that run-in and to think, okay, this manager's starting to cook with the squad. He's already shown it in the first half of the season because we finished in second in December. We were in second place. Then we went through injuries and our attack fell out of form. And even then, we still managed to turn Stamford Bridge into a fortress. We've still managed to go for a run like this with a run-in like that. Liverpool at home, Newcastle away at Nottingham Forest, where so many big teams haven't won this season. Bogey teams like fucking Manchester United, Fulham, who had just beaten us in the reverse fixture. That Fulham game is probably where things turned around because our season would have been over if we didn't win that game. And look at the momentum that we have built from that point. Maresca has got us to a point where we still have some of the highest chances created in the league. And defensively, we have the third best team in the league. This is all in his first season as an inexperienced championship manager with all the criticism in the world at his feet before a Premier League ball was even kicked this season. And yet he's still managed to achieve our targets. Get Enzo Maresca the players that he needs next season so we can properly judge him and properly go for the Premier League title next season, because that's what we should be doing. We should be building this team to contend. Now we have the money. Now we have the resources. Now we don't have the excuses. The only thing that I hope to the good Lord I don't see is us have the same sort of route that we had in the last summer window, because it worked and we got top 4. We got top 4 in spite of the recruitment. We got top 4 of a manager with a very good system and him getting the best out of our defense and our midfield and our forwards just like popping up every now and then. And that was about it. That was about it. Go and get the forwards that will be the key to like getting goals for us. Go and get us a player that is guaranteed 20 goals and assists and a winger that can chip in with a little 10 and 15 or something like that. We will be going for the league title. That is the difference. So Clear Lake, it's now up to you. It's now up to you. No more BS. No more ifs, no more buts, no more maybes. No more you take a player, we take a player, you just go and you bring me my game changers. And then let's finally make the final steps to bringing Chelsea back to where it should be, which is the top of the Premier League. The top of the Premier League, lifting this trophy again. It's been way too damn long. Way too damn long. Let's get it done, people. Big up to every single one of you that's locked in, though. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the way out. What an end to the season, people. Let's go. Up the Chelsea. Up the Chelsea.